Do you notice that more women will be side chicks than ever? Than ever? Do you know that? They're comfortable with it. This is the society we live in. The women nowadays said, go take a good man from a woman that don't appreciate him. And ladies, if y'all my love and y'all cat, tell the truth. You don't think that good man that walks out that house right now, he's getting hit on, whether he has a ring on or no ring on, he is getting hit on. There's a saying, do not bring your husband to Atlanta. I know y'all heard that. It's 2 reasons, of course, but we ain't gonna go in there. It's 2 reasons, of course, but we ain't gonna go there. It's 2 reasons. Damn. There's 2 reasons. But I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm not here for that.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Listen, guys, today's episode is you made your bed, you're going to have to lay in it. There's a reason why I want to talk about this particular topic. And if anybody got some information to add to this topic, you definitely could chime in. And the phone number today is 516-253-1150. 516-253-1150. Right? Today we're talking about if you made your bed, you're going to have to lie in it. The one thing I've learned today with dealing with cultural people, we tend to not be accountable. Accountability is a lost art in today's society. More people blame society for the decisions that they make, but they never look at the decision that they make. I had to tell a guy, I like to look out and try to help people. I had a guy at one point literally working at one of my stores, and I would tell him like, yo, just don't pay me nothing, stack your money. You would think after a long tenure, he would have saved a lot of money, but then you look at it, he saved absolutely nothing, and then he still plays the victim. He plays the victim as if someone did something to him. I feel like, guys, we gotta stop. The reason why I think most people don't learn is because they don't exercise they don't exercise logic. Everything is about how they feel. And this is the culture today. The other day I was having a conversation about, and I'm gonna go into this, and I don't care who get offended. Reality is this, let's talk about it. The white man has held us down for so long is a topic that needs to be stopped talked about. I'm gonna be honest with you, I definitely think the new generation and people need to be acknowledged on what black people have accomplished in this country. But I think it's hurt our culture to the point where all we do is talk about the problem, but we never worked on the solution. What we can do to change the narrative. When you look at certain people, they make poor decisions and they still blaming people for their decisions. You have 40, 30, 50-year-old people who still blaming the white man when you decided to sell drugs. You got incarcerated because you sold drugs. Let's call that what it is. You had a child because you had unprotected sex. Like, what are we doing here? After a certain point, we got to look at it like, damn, we wilding. There are powers that be that's in the way. But again, we got to stop saying white people, because when you say white people, you acknowledging that all white people are wealthy, but in reality, all white people aren't wealthy. There are 10 times more white people that aren't wealthy than that is. So when you keep saying white people are wealthy, the white people, and I'm like, listen, believe it or not, there's black people that's in the same situation right now that don't want to see other black people win also. There are black people that don't want to see other black people become wealthy also. You ever seen that movie, The Django? Remember he got tight when he saw the Django pull up on a horse? He said, who that Negro in that near? He was tight. There are people that really operate like that, right? And this is an issue when you see like, you don't want to see other people at the party because you want to be the one and only. And this is the problem we got to identify, guys. We got to stop blaming people for the poor decisions that we make. Again, we can't complain about the resources that we lack, but when we spend our resources on foolishness, that's a conscious decision on self. You can't keep blaming everybody. The lady said the other day to me, she said, I hear you, but let's be real. White people have burnt down Black Wall Street. They did, right? the ancestors of, they don't exist. The people that did it don't exist no more. Let me just say that again. The people that put people in slaves, that were slaves and shackles, they don't exist no more. And they're gonna say, oh, they hired them hands. Yeah, but at the same time, we have the most opportunity today than we've ever had as black people. We have the most opportunity in the history of the U.S. that we ever had as black people. We can get educated, right? We can own homes. We can do a lot of different things. You know why other cultures win in this culture? It's because they create a formula or a culture within the culture. When you go into other communities, you see that they have a culture. And what I mean by a culture is their women ain't fighting with who's more masculine than their man because they're making money. That's really the issue when you see it by itself. Ladies, you know why I'm going to say this on record and somebody going to get mad, but I don't give a damn. The reality is, you know why most men don't care about a woman's earning? Most men don't care about a woman's earning is because most women don't share their earning. When a man makes more money, his intention is to give his family a better life. The women nowadays that tend to make more money, it seems like all they care about is giving themselves a better life. They allow themselves to believe that their money make them equivalent to a man. God did not create man and woman to fight against each other. He made us to work together. And the resources is the only thing that allow you to have respect. That means you're a whore. You're a financial whore. I'm going to say it on record. If a man only respects a man with money, he's a financial whore. If a woman respects a man with money only, she's a financial whore. And this is why you see so many people sell their soul, because they value money more than they value their own respect. As a culture, we have more power than we want to give light. What do you say light? Okay, light is this. When you realize that your kids that are in the communities that are failing, we tend to not even pull back for them. These kids are insecure. I want you to hear this good. When you take a young woman who's promiscuous, right? She's promiscuous in most cases because she was not validated by a man. She's seeking the love that she probably didn't get from a fatherly figure or a father that she wants from a man. What she does is, this is why a lot of the times when you have these girls that have these issues, what she call you? Daddy. She calls you daddy because she has daddy issues. And then you look at that young man who goes towards the streets to behave a certain way, right? You're looking at the same young man. If you look at that same young man, why do he behave that way? Because the gang validates him. The father wasn't there to validate him as a man, so therefore looking for the validation from other men. And usually men don't go where they're tolerated, they go where they're celebrated. And these young men and women, they're going where they're celebrated. They feel celebrated. For that little intimate encounter that woman has with that man, it makes her feel like someone cares and love her. Because she don't know what love even looks like. Most women align finances with love. I'm going to say it on record. I don't care who get mad. Most women align finances with love. Why do you say that, Q? Because of the fact that most women value men who make money to the point where they don't value the men that are respectful and care about them. You could be a guy that's not the highest earner, but a guy that's the highest earner tends to be the highest value man when it comes to women, because women overvalue finances to the point where they realize they will sell their respect for it. And the men are complete opposite. A man would rather not be with a woman that's financially secure than be with a woman that is, because of respect. A man would rather be with a woman who is not financially secure for his respect. And I'm going to tell y'all something on record. A man is not going to compromise his respect because of your anger. Let me say that again. A man is not going to compromise his respect because of your anger. A lady DM'd me today. She said, my man hasn't hit me back in over a month. And I said, why? She just couldn't say why. She gets, I don't know, sometimes he gets upset, da, 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 da. Finally, it all came down to it that she called this man out his name. She called this man out his name. I'm going to tell y'all something. A man's first emasculation is usually his mother. So a lot of times that the women that talk crazy to men, they're triggering emotions in men that they couldn't deal with when they was children. For instance, I couldn't do nothing to my mother, so now for a fact, I'm not going to tolerate that from a woman. Most women emasculate their sons. And when I say they call them out their name, they say very, very, very disrespectful things. If you ask most men right now, who was the first person that emasculated you verbally, they're going to say a woman, which was their mother. And that's not an opinion, that's a fact. So when you see that man that goes off the reservation, why is he so upset? It's because it's triggering an emotion that his mother used to do to him when he was younger. And now he can defend himself. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that you made your bed, you're going to have to lay in it. Right? Sometimes you see some women, they say things like, damn, I don't want to be alone anymore. But in reality, you chose to be alone because you didn't work on yourself when you was alone. The work you do when you by yourself, it shows when you with somebody else. Because confidence can't be faked. You can't fake confidence. Either you are or you're not. Either you're submissive or you're not. Either you're a provider or you're not. Either you're a leader or you're not. You can't wait till somebody get in a relationship with you and expect that, oh, I'm going to wait till the lady said the other day, you know what she said to me? It was crazy. She said, once he gets me, he has to get me in my soft girl era. That is diabolical. He has to get you in your soft girl era? That mean you ain't no soft girl. That mean it doesn't exist in you. I want ladies to hear this on my live today. You could be very, very, very strong and still feminine. The problem with a lot of women in today's society, they're very, very strong and very masculine. They misconstrue it. They take on too much manly energy. They're very feminine, strong women who know that they're a woman and they're comfortable being women. The sad part is, when you make money and your idea of making money is to compete with a man, you already know you shouldn't even be in a relationship. The same way a man runs from the word provision, if a woman runs from submission, I tell a man to leave that alone. Leave that alone. Our culture right now, we fighting the wrong fight. There are a lot of things that we could work on ourselves to the point where we can elevate ourselves financially. One of the factors is group economics. One of the factors is what? Educating ourselves, right? You have brokers on the phone that you can download an app where you can trade stocks now. Technology has advanced to the point where it's making everything easier to do. But most people are still looking for the hard things to do because they don't want to do anything. And that's a harsh reality. Our culture need to wake up. Stop blaming the white man for the decisions that you're making. I look at some people, right? When you look at logic, and there was a time I used to work every day. And the reason why I used to work every day, because I realized at one point when you first coming up, my most expensive days was the days I was off. The most expensive days were my days off. And if you're in a relationship, chances are the woman always wants to go do something and spend your money. And that's the issue. That's why I tell a lot of young men and a lot of men, don't rush to a relationship. In most cases, rushing to a relationship is like rushing to bills. I hate to say this on record, and someone's gonna get offended. Most women in relationships are bills. They're bills. I call it what it is. And they volunteer your money. But you have no right to volunteer their money. Try volunteering a woman money and see how she do. Call your girl right now and say, yo, we going out to eat on your dime. She gonna look at you like you so sassy. Come on. She gonna look at you like you crazy. But the fact of the matter is, she'll make you feel like less of a man because of the fact that you're not doing what she wanna do. I'm gonna tell my men on record, there are a lot of women in the society today that are very narcissistic. And the reason being is because they lack empathy. A man can't build if you keep taking all the resources from him, sister. I'm gonna say this again. Ladies, a man cannot build if you keep taking all the resources from him. You make your money to spend on yourself. He makes the money that he has to still spend on himself and also spend on you. Where is that even worth it? What is the sign up for? What does that even make sense? This is the issue that we have. Stop measuring a man how deep his pockets is and start measuring a man based on how deep is his love. How deep is his respect for himself is. Stop measuring a man how deep his pockets is. That's what we do. We tend to look at the wrong things. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this on record. Whether male or female, one child is a mistake. Multiple kids by multiple people is not a mistake. And I don't give a damn who gets offended by it. You cannot sit here and have multiple child fathers, child's mothers, and talking about it was a mistake. That's not a mistake. That's conscious decisions. After a certain age, guys, if there's no accountability, there's no fixing the situation. We got to get this baby mama, baby daddy culture out. The baby mama, baby daddy culture has gotten so prominent to the point where people don't even care about marriage. They worry about having a kid. I think marriage is way more easy to get out of than having a child. I think it ain't even close. Having a kid is forever. But a marriage can end and that's that. But people look at it like, yo, if I sign up for this marriage, you know how you know people are sick? I think most people, male or female, they could be in relationships, but they believe that there's a better person out there looking for them. I think today's society overvalue themselves. Male and female, they overvalue themselves. And I want to go on record and say I think more women do. And the reason why is because you'll meet a woman that say, I don't want to settle. But in reality, she don't look at the fact that the man is not settling also. Y'all both settling. Because 9 out of 10 times, the person that you might marry and date ain't the person you thought you would marry and date. We have an idea of what we look at physically that we thought we would have, just like they do. Right? We both do. So that's the reality, is y'all both settling. A woman is not just settling, but I keep hearing prominently from women's mouth that they're the ones that's settling. I've listened to women. You know the one thing I do give men a round of applause for? Most men will find somebody in a similar situation to ask for advice about their relationship. Most men, and I want y'all to hear this good, and somebody could take it like I'm saying whatever I want, but in reality it's because you don't want to hear the truth. Most men will find someone who has a very similar situation to them and ask for advice. Most women, on the other hand, will find anyone that's willing to listen to them tell them their nonsense. That's why most women have problems when it comes to dating, because they get their advice from people that are bad at dating. The same girl that you're going to that's been single for the last 10 years, you're telling her about your problem, but in reality, she wish she had your problem. The thing that you see as a problem, she wish she had it. Ladies, I'm going on record and tell y'all need to stop going to your most single friends asking for advice, because all she gonna do is steer you right to single avenue and you're gonna be miserable right here with cats alone. I'm just telling the truth. But if you say this, oh my God, I'm like, no, it's the truth. It's the truth. But I don't know why we just can't hear the truth. We get offended by somebody telling us logic. The reason why women lose value to men, let me emphasize on it again. The reason why women lose value to men as they get older is because women are born with value. A man has to earn his value. So therefore, the men get value later in life. I'm going to say this again because somebody going to get mad. The reason why men don't value women as they get older is because women are born with value. If my women was very truth tellers, they should tell these young girls to get the most valuable man they can possibly get when they're young. Ladies, y'all so in competition with men that y'all can't even see logic. What I mean by logic is this. A man can make babies to the end of time. A man can make babies at 60. A man can make babies at 70. It's not my opinion. This is scientifically proven fact, right? Women have a biological clock. Why would you tell young girls that you shouldn't get the most valuable man when you're at your highest value, and you'll wait till your value start going down to start looking? And y'all gonna tell a young woman that's smart? I have 2 daughters. I would never tell them that. I would never tell them. I'm like, when you in your prime is when you get your best valued man. Because if you wait till you come over that hill, then you might not see, you might, look, when you're going up, all you see is the sun. But when you start coming down, all you see is the ground. I'm gonna say that again. When you ladies are going up, all you see is the sun. But as you get to the top of that hill and you start going down, all you see is the ground. But again, we can't get mad and not tell ourselves the truth. Otherwise, we're going to create another generation of women who are not going to see it. They're going to be like, I'm going to worry about my career. You worried about your career, so you weeded off all the good men. A lot of times you meet girls that say there aren't good men out here, but in reality, a lot of girls overvalue themselves. They overvalue themselves. They said that 90% of women in line for the same 10% of men. Let me say that again. Doesn't that sound crazy? They said 90% of women are in line looking for the same 10% of men. And these are not my statistics. But I love how these women are saying facts. Look, Leash, facts. We know it's the truth. But again, most women are so emotional, they can't hear logic. And I'm like, it's not about dissing you. It's about telling the truth. Because in reality, as you age, and I will tell my women that are aging right now, if you're an older woman on my live right now, let me just say this to you. It's not about finding the highest value man. It's finding a man that loves, appreciates you, and wants to spend the rest of his days with you. At that age, you should be thinking about a companion more than you're thinking about love. Because the love story that you've been sold, you need to go slap Walt Disney because he lied to you. You need to go fight the person that wrote the Notebook and did the movie The Notebook because it's a lie. It's a movie. Come on. It's a movie. It's not real. The same way you wake up some days and can't stand that man, he wakes up and can't stand you either. Breath hot, both of y'all breath hot. It's both of y'all. The same exact way you wake up and feel, he wakes up and feel. And the crazy part is, and I want y'all to hear this good, ladies, right? When that man is elevating, right? If he leaves you, and a lot of women gonna get mad and offended by this. In most cases, if a man is building his life and he's with you, and you don't realize that he is not easy to find, if you and that man break up in your older years, watch how fast that man replaced that woman. And chances are the girl might be doing 10 times better than you. Because what happens is society told you to not learn how to appreciate your man and be grateful that you got somebody that comes home every day to you. We in a society where we are at a loss of men. There's a low value of men now. So if you got a man that comes home every day to you and you don't think you're blessed, someone else will come in. Because I'm going to tell you the new rule what a lot of women say. And a lot of women going to get offended by this, but it's the truth. Ladies said, you know how you find a good man? You know what they say? This is a saying. I hope everybody listening, this saying is truth. They say, women, don't go look for a man. Go take a man from a woman that don't know how to treat her man. I promise you that's what they're saying. Do you notice that more women will be side chicks than ever? Do you know that? They're comfortable with it. This is the society we live in. The women nowadays said, go take a good man from a woman that don't appreciate him. And ladies, if y'all my live and y'all cat, tell the truth. You don't think that good man that walks out that house right now, he's getting hit on, whether he has a ring on or no ring on, he is getting hit on. There's a saying, do not bring your husband to Atlanta. I know y'all heard that. It's 2 reasons, of course, but we ain't gonna go in there. It's 2 reasons, of course, but we ain't gonna go there. It's 2 reasons. Look. Damn. There's 2 reasons. But I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm not here for that. But again, if your man tells you that he's not getting hit on by women, he lying. He lying. If he's a hardworking man. See, because the thing is, those older women, when now they aged, those men that they used to beat off with a stick, and the guys they weren't attracted to, they like them now and they wish they had them. Because that dude was more consistent. Just think about yourself. I know all my ladies on my live, let's keep it 100 right now. If you can go back to your high school days right now, and being honest, would most of y'all choose the guy you considered corny when y'all was in high school? Being honest, I want to hear my ladies, what y'all gonna say, yes or no? If you can go back to high school right now and choose, you lying. You must be single. Lying. They lying. You're gonna choose the square guy, the guy that had his life together, the guy that was on the ball. But if you look at, that's the doctors. That's the accountants. The guys that y'all go hard for now are those guys. If those guys were super going hard on education, I know it's absolutely. They're lying. I want to ask Sexy Leo, Lady with integrity, I think it says. Nisa Miami, Pamela, I want to know all the people that said no. I want to ask y'all yes or no. Are you single? I want to hear this. Tell the truth. Don't cap. Are you single? And I'm not trying to play you, so don't take it like I'm trying to diss you. Are you single? Right? Yes or no? Are you single? I knew it. Somebody lying. Show me a picture of your man. Nah, I love you, ladies. You know I love you guys. But in reality, what I'm getting at is the people that got into relationships young and they've been in relationships for a long time, that's an exception to the rule. A lot of times you can't compare yourself. But the people that are single now that they're older, see, you've been married for 20 years. Come on. That's why. That ain't fair. You got your boo. And congratulations to that. Love is a beautiful thing. 20 years of marriage is a beautiful thing. But what I'm getting at is most people, if they can go back now, those guys that they friend zoned, they wish they would have took them to the end zone. Let me say that again. Those guys that they friend zoned, they wish they would have took them to the end zone. I want to ask you, you just shake your head, yes or no. If you were single, right, and you can go back and date one of those guys that were squares, and they were good guys, and you were in high school today, would you do it? But it's the truth. And you can't feel away. It's because now they're more seasoned. But the problem with women being seasoned, men don't like too over-seasoned food. Men don't like over-seasoned food. We get high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure. Men like women, I hate to say it, men like women that are less seasoned. And it's not because of control, it's because it's more feasible to lead. Ask that question.
Nikki says, why do men think like this?
Think like what, though?
The way you're thinking. The men don't like women who are too seasoned.
The reason why is because men don't like women that are too seasoned. It's the same way as why women don't like broke men. It's common sense. See, the thing is, Miss Nikki, and I don't want to disrespect you. I'm just being honest with you, right? No, but I ain't saying that all the time, Nick. Let's be fair. In most cases, the guys that you overlooked, now that's the guys that women double back and try to get. A lot of times, the guy that women did not like when they were younger, they be wanting them now. And anybody on my live right now, man-wise, if you were considered corny to the standard of what women were thought when you were in high school, now, be honest, would women try to holler at you now more than ever? For anybody that was. Kinsey, I want you to, Kinsey, give Kinsey the mic. Give him the mic now. Answer it, Kinsey. Now that were you popular amongst women when you were growing up?
No, I was not.
Next question. Do you think if you was to go in the dating world, way more women are trying to holler at you now than high school?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I have my shit together.
Say it again.
Because I have my shit together.
It's just the truth. As they age and they get more seasoned, they start knowing what a good guy looks like. But here's the problem with the next generation. The next generation don't teach the next generation how to look for those guys. All you see in black culture is the little rough hood dudes get all the girls when they're young, and then when they get old, you know why I can say that? Because I was one of those guys. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I was a little rough around the edges. Well, I was a lot of rough. I'm gonna be honest. And I was popular because I did all the wrong things. I'm saying, so when you look at it like, I want to teach my children to make sure you look for those kind of guys. That's, if you're going to date somebody that got some substance. Date somebody that's going somewhere with their life. You know something funny? I'm going to tell you something, and I want you to hear this. You want to laugh? I'm going to make y'all laugh. Yo, watch this. Right? A lot of women, I'm laughing at myself right now, guys, because this is hilarious. A lot of women will cheat on a man that works too much. And a lot of women will be faithful to a dude in jail. That's crazy.
What they do?
That's not crazy. Yo, there are a lot of women that will cheat on a man that works too much. but they'll be faithful to a whole dude in jail. That's crazy. So when you, listen, when I tell the truth, people get offended. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, in my heyday, I went there before. And I seen professional women, I'm talking about nurses, accountants, real estate investors. I seen them meet guys in jail online and pull up to the jail to come see them. I seen it with my own 2 eyes. I'm like, yo, you bagged a girl from the streets who has a life together. And the crazy part is, she started putting money on his books. She started taking care of him. Now you got a guy out in the real world who's trying. You don't give them that same level of empathy. But you get a one in jail, that level of empathy. I think, listen, I don't want to sound crazy. Somebody gonna feel away. I think we addicted to jail or something. I don't know what it is. Like, look, I'm being honest with you. Your brother come home with a master's degree from school, he a cornball, and we don't give him a party. But the dude come home from jail, we give him a party. I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm trying my best to logically put my hands around this subject. Why do we overvalue jail? Like, I don't get it. Like, that's the worst thing on life. You a jailbird. I do not represent jail. I had a dude tell me the other day he's going to do his he's going to do his going away party. I said, where you going? Jail. I said, I'm not coming to that crap. Like, you sound crazy. You want me to come to your going away party to jail. You sound crazy as hell. But this is the culture. Guys, it might not be you, but it's definitely is normal in the culture. That people overvalue jailbirds. What was it, something that you wanted to read, Tyler?
Nikki said, I think the women think their man can't cheat in jail because they're insecure. I mean, they could, but...
Listen. He can't cheat. I'm going to be honest with you, and somebody going to get mad. But guess what? I think a lot of dudes that go to jail a lot, they got boyfriends. I don't care. I'm saying it. I think a lot of dudes that go to jail a lot, they got boyfriends. Listen, I did one run, and I said never again. I don't understand dudes that keep going back and back and back to jail. I definitely think they got boyfriends. It only makes sense. They got a whole situationship in jail. It's just what it is. It's crazy because there's no way you want to keep going there. It's nothing there. I'm just saying, man, it's diabolical. If y'all got a family member being fair that always go in jail, they might be a little different. I'm just being honest with you. They might be a little different. And I'm not trying to play anybody in their sexual preference because I'm going to be honest with you. If you notice, one thing I don't do, I don't ostracize people for their life choices. I might not agree with everything what people do, but at the same time, I don't force my beliefs onto people. But I definitely know how to, if it walks like a duck, it quack like a duck, chances are it's a duck. But the men that keep going to jail, they got to be a little different. They're a little challenged. They're a little touched because it only makes sense. And this is what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, when we sit back and evaluate our culture, I remember one time I had a good friend of mine, right? He looked me in my face and he got sentenced to 7 years. He looked at me and said, 7 years, that's light. It registered to me at that moment that a person believing losing 5, 6, 7 years of their life is nothing. And I said, Q, I don't want to lose 7 minutes of my life. So I said, damn, like, you don't even see there's nothing wrong with you going away for a long stint of time and you're losing time away from your child. The other day, this guy said to me, and it is crazy. You know what a guy said to me the other day? He said he just came home. He did 6 years. And then he started telling me about how many kids he got. I said, I don't think you should gloat about your children. He said, why? I said, because if you was a good father, you wouldn't be losing all this time away from your kids. I said, the fact of the matter is, your kids would have been better with you staying here on the streets working at McDonald's than to losing their father for 6 years. Those are 6 years of development that you'll never get back with your children. And he said, my kids are good. I said, you say they good, but have you asked them, are they good? You assume they good because that's how you get through your time and keep doing your nonsense. Because I'm going to tell you something. If a good father or a good mother didn't make it about themselves and they looked at their children, they'll realize they're not good parents. A good parent can't tell me a good parent. Your kid, it shows me what you are. Let me say that again. A good parent don't have to tell me they're a good parent. Your kids will represent you as a good parent. Anybody can say they're a good parent. But the reality is, how do your children feel about you? That father, that mother, go sit with your child, especially when they're of age and they're able to tell the truth. Some people won't say it because they be like, you know what? My mom gonna get mad, she gonna get offended, so they ain't gonna say nothing. But in reality, go ask your child. When I was there, listen, feeding, clothing, you don't get no points for that. I'm gonna tell you why you don't get no points for feeding and clothing. Because by law, if you don't do it, you're going to jail. You're going to jail. I'm just keeping it 100. If you have children and you don't feed, house, and clothe your children, you're going to jail. Do the things that show that you won't go to jail for. The things that really matter. Show me psychologically, are you there for your child? How much you support them at their events? How much you sit at that table and study with them when they got a test due? Or do you sit there and complain about them and their tests, but you're not helping them learn? The greatest parent is the one that forced themselves to learn so therefore they can help their children learn. Because your child, a lot of times they outgrow their parents educationally. But I know parents that kept themselves so sharp because of the fact that they wanted to be able to relate to their children psychologically as far as education. There's a lot of people on TikTok right now and social media right now who want to relate to their kids with their dance moves, but they don't want to relate to their kid as far as logic and life. They don't want to educate themselves to the point where they can teach their child a thing or two. But they will show them how to do all the dances. They know the moves, right? But this is our culture. Someone said something about black culture. What they said earlier, I didn't see that. What they say, Dre? I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. We have to stop glorifying the nonsense. And then you have to allow, I just personally think, and I'm gonna say this, somebody gonna get tight. What they say? Read that, Tyler.
There's a sub-black culture that idolizes hood, jail, and making multiple babies without marriage.
Who said that?
Cruz.
Cruz, you're 100% right.
Can I just read this off real quick?
Say it again.
Can I just read this off real quick?
Yeah.
So when we're talking about finances and just working together, so black consumers' spending power in 2025 was $2 trillion. We spent $70 billion on luxury goods.
$70 billion.
$70 billion. And it projected that we spent 25 to 30% of all luxury spending.
For such a small entity in this country, 14 to 16% of the country's population. 14 to 16% of the country's population, but yet and still, we're the most wasteful. A lot of us turn our ACs on and we leave the doors open and we wonder why the house ain't cooled down financially. A lot of us turn the ACs on, open all windows and doors, and then we wonder why we can't cool the house down. A lot of us go in the classroom and cheat off the person that's failing the class. This is the reality. We make our bed. You're going to have to lay in this thing. You make this bed, you got to lay in that thing. A lot of us don't want to accept the fact that we making the poor decisions, but we want to blame everybody else. A lot of us avoid the mirror and looking at ourselves, but we look at everybody else. We spend more energy talking about each other rather than working together. You ever looked at your sister that you talking crazy about and never sat her down and asked her why she think the way she think, but yet and still you talk bad about her, not assuming that you understand her problems. Everyone in life has a thought pattern that may not in line with you, but yet and still what they believe is right. But we have to sit down and identify why this person think the way they think. You ever gave somebody that level of grace? There are things, children right now on my live right now, if you got parents, right? You ever look at your parent and say, damn, my mother might be going through something? Damn, my dad might be going through something? Damn, that, it's not easy being a single mother. Damn, it's not easy being a single father. Damn, it's not easy getting up every day when you tired as hell and gotta go pay these goddamn bills. You ever looked in the mirror and said that to yourself? But a lot of people can't do it because they make everything about how they feel. And that's the issue. When you talking about narcissism, you automatically create something called what? A lack of empathy. We're not an empathetic culture anymore. When you complaining about that lady with them 6 kids, I can tell if you can complain about the lady with the 6 kids if you're willing to be an example for them 6 kids. She already did what she did. We can't get rid of the babies. But what we can do is help them damn babies. And I'm calling all my men out right now on live too. If you see this situation, rather than you talking about her, won't you give her a helping hand? Give a helping hand. That woman that had all those babies probably got an issue, a psychological issue that none of us could understand. And it's deep rooted in trauma. It's like a vine wrapped around her trauma that she got to cut so many damn branches off to get to it. But a lot of us are scared because every time she cut a branch, it hurts. Every time she cut a branch, it hurts. But we're going to sit there and laugh at each other and joke on each other, but we don't see that a lot of us have issues. And this is what I'll do. Yo, DM me right now. We're going to do that. Just for y'all to know, I'm creating a whole community. I don't have fans. I have a community. My guys on my live, everybody, we're a community. And I think it's time we take back our goddamn community. I think it's time we take back our goddamn community. Because the longer we allow this to be a problem, the issue is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. There's been an elephant in the room, and he's ate so long, he got so big that he's filling up the whole goddamn room. Black culture, we got issues. And if we don't identify these issues, all we're going to do is bleed on to the next generation. And guess what? What Tupac said, you raise a race of babies that hate the ladies. And that's what you see. A race of babies that hate the goddamn ladies. You got a race of women that hate the goddamn men. They hate the men. We hate each other to the point where we don't even believe that logic says 1 + 1 equals 2. And 2 is always better than 1, to the point we can't even identify that to be logic no more. You had a woman tell me she'd rather pay 100% of her bills than a man paying half of her bills. Your mother and father slow. Because that don't make no damn sense. If I'm 40 years old, right? And I've been paying 100% of my bills my whole life. And you telling me somebody willing to come in my life and take away half my bills? And I don't want that unless they're willing to pay all of them? You're going to die alone as hell. So go back to your plantation job tomorrow and complain to the day you die. Complain. I hate my life. Men ain't nothing, because you looking for, you overvaluing yourself, looking for a man that don't even exist for you. There are every bit of exceptions to every rule. But the reality is those cards didn't play out for you. It's like spades. You play your hand that you're dealt. Stop waiting for the good hand, but you still got to be able to play the hand that you got in your hand. Stop waiting for the good hand to come up and play the hand that you have. We don't realize that logic says in order for us to do better, you have to do better. You can't do better if you don't do better. In reality is most of us will never do better because we can't acknowledge what better is. Better is 2 people working together. Better is healthy children come out of 2 parents. Healthy is, even if we don't work out, we still have to learn how to co-parent. And Tyrone, who's wilding, he might have psychological issues, and you can't be mad at him. You slept with a guy that's sick. He's sick. But you know, when we was younger, you know what they said? You don't go to therapy. Only people that's crazy go to therapy. Only people that's crazy go to therapy. This is why you have a bunch of people who run around here needing therapy. Because in reality, what trauma is, we create responses. A lot of people, trauma responses is running to the next penis and vagina rather than fixing themselves. That's a trauma response. All you do is run the penis and vagina anytime things don't go the way you want. That's a trauma response. You know what you say? I can do better. I can go get me somebody else. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to be right back at that same point in no time, because the issue is you. And you're going to keep attracting yourself. You're going to keep attracting your goddamn self. But we're going to do this. It's the world. Everybody other than myself. We made this bed, guys. A lot of us got to realize we got to make up our bed better. We got to clean up the culture. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing for us that we ain't willing to do for ourselves. Nobody. It took me a long time to accept the fact that the only person that could fix me is me. The only person that could accept the fact that I need to work on myself was myself. Let's stop laughing at each other and start working with each other. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, and I say this respectfully. I'm jealous of a lot of other coaches. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm such a strong black man and prominently a black man that I love being black to the point where I want to help other black people grow and elevate. I worked on my traumas. I did all the mirror work behind closed doors when nobody saw me. I worked on myself to the point where I stopped going out to the world having to hide who I truly am. I'm comfortable with showing my true reality now because I've done the work. I've worked on myself. And whatever I am or I ain't, I still accept the fact that it's me. I'm going to die with flaws. I was born flawed, and I'm going to end my life with flaws. But in reality, I have to accept who I am. When we sit down and say these things, it's about everyone becoming the best version of themselves. It's not about how much money you make. Is you healing yourself and working on yourself to the point where you're not toxic to anybody else you're around. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you're around somebody that's bleeding long enough and all that blood get on you, eventually nobody going to be able to tell who was the one bleeding. Let me say that again. Somebody, I know that went over their whole head. When you're around somebody that's bleeding long enough and the blood gets on you, eventually you won't even know who the person that started the bleeding, because everybody has the trauma on them. We got to work on ourselves, guys. We got to identify what's our problems, right? And this is what I love that, Cruz. He said, you sound like my father. Thank you. He gave me a gift of understanding people. Listen, we have to, because empathy is one of the things our culture lost. Because you know why? That lady that used to live down the street that did drugs, we didn't laugh at her sons and daughters. We helped them. We helped them. Those kids that couldn't afford a bike, you know what we did? We got together, we bought them a bike. Everybody is not gonna always have the greatest life. But the reality is, struggle look good when we all working together in struggle. Struggle will always look better with people working together. That's why when I grew up, I didn't know I was poor till I realized I was poor. I didn't know I was poor. Because the community I grew up in, everybody worked together. We ate at each other's house. This is what we did. Now you realize that people don't even want to help other people's children because everybody worried about their own life. And listen, I understand that bills, responsibilities are hard, but I'm going to tell you something. God will bless you back. But you got to start giving back blessings, helping out other people, right? Telling somebody like, yo, just be honest with somebody. You know, the other day, I told this lady, if you ever meet a person that has a lot of friends, you know what that mean? Well, male or female, you know what that mean? Insecure, what you got, Chris? If somebody got a lot of friends. Hate being alone? What you got, Kinsey? You don't have any friends? What you got? Insecure? You know what that mean? That mean they're a good liar. The person that has the most friends are always the best liars. They don't tell no one the truth. They don't hold nobody accountable. They the friend that let a girl come out wearing something that she ain't supposed to wear and talk behind her back. I will say this on record, and some women gonna get offended. I feel like women are the most phoniest in the world when it comes to each other. I feel like women are so phony when it comes to each other. They will lie to each other till they blue in the face. They live in delusion. They don't live in a reality when it comes to telling each other the truth. And I'm not gonna say that's all women, but most women, they lie to each other. The one thing about men, you're not gonna be comfortable being around men that's on a swerve or that's doing what they gotta do. But I know successful women that won't tell real women anything about themselves because of the fact that they worried that that person gonna get offended and get upset. They will let that girl come out, get him, girl. So she leave, she shouldn't be wearing that. She look disgusting. Ew, yuck. You see her? She got the nerve. And I'm like, well, would you tell her that? Go sit her down and talk to her. I think the issue they did when they started giving everybody participation awards. I think the issue is when they stopped body shaming. Now everybody think they're thick and they're fat. Everybody think they're thick and they're fat. I don't care who get offended. It's the truth. We're so nasty with our less body shame that we believe that unhealthy weight and sickly weight is sexy and thick. This is crazy. On the way to diabetes, but yet still we believe that this is normal. And this is our culture. The other day, I watched a video and the guy broke down that our women over 30 plus are starting to weigh the same amount of weight as men. That's not that. Listen, somebody can get mad, but I'm just being honest. It shouldn't be like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to start working on ourselves. We need to start working on ourselves. And it's not a body shame. It's not an attack, right? This is about fixing the culture. And again, I told you, you shouldn't be that person saying, not me. You should be trying to encourage someone that you know that is. We don't have to hide our hand when we know it's not us. What we do is the people that are, we need to help those that aren't. We need to say something to them. Help them out. It's not about who is, who ain't. We in the class, I brought my pencil. Listen, the other kids don't got no pencil. So share your pencil. It's not about who don't or who do. It's about helping each other so we all can fix. You have your pencil. I got my pencil teacher. But everybody else ain't got no goddamn pencil. And that kid that you laughing at that don't got a pencil, guess what? His mother can't afford a pencil for him. And you laughing at him. This is our culture. We haven't worked on ourselves to the point where we're not even helping each other. I could be successful, right? And I could drink wine with a few, right? But I'd rather drink goddamn water with everybody to make sure everybody's thirst is quenched. Let me say that again for those who don't hear me. I would rather drink water with everybody than wine with a few. I was raised to help. I was raised to work together. I was raised that no man and no woman gets left behind. That's how I was raised. Because in order to fix the culture, we got to heal the culture. We have a sick culture. And again, until we learn how to work on each other, we're going to continue to bleed on each other. I got tired of myself bleeding on people. Every woman that I would have met, if I didn't work on myself, I was going to break. And I'm keeping it 100. Some of y'all don't like to live in y'all truth. I live in my truth. I did women foul because I was sick with myself. I wasn't happy with myself. I didn't understand what was wrong with me. And I used to say, they say a man don't have feelings. And I'd be like, what the hell am I feeling then? They say a man don't have feelings, but I'm sitting in the room like, what the hell am I feeling? Why do I feel depressed? Why am I hurting so bad? Why am I worried about all of these problems? But they say a man don't have feelings. But I'm sitting in the room and I'm depressed as hell. So guess what? You know what I'll do? I'll go look for somebody to go throw my depression on and take advantage of them. Because some of the times, I ain't gonna lie, I met women who had great intentions, but my intentions was always bad. They were not pure. So again, I'm the rabbit from 8 Mile. I'll tell you my truth. So if you ever diss me, I don't give a damn. Because I stand here and live in my truth. I'm not ashamed of my truth no more. And it took me a long time to get to this level. And I've only healed because I started living in my truth. I don't lie to myself no more. I know my shortcomings and I know my strengths. And whatever I'm not strong at, I put people around me that is better at it. And I'm comfortable to call them, yo, Dre, what do you think about this? Yo, Dre, I need you to do this. Yo, Tyler, I need you to do this for me. Yo, Chris, can you move that over for me? Yo, Kins, what we got to do going over here? I don't mind that. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'd rather be around 10 lions than 100 sheep. I'd rather be around 10 lions than 100 sheep. Some of y'all want to be around sheep, and think because y'all have numbers, that make y'all strong. But in reality, y'all weak as hell. And it's going to get exploited. We got to work on the culture, guys. Let's stop laughing at each other. A lot of us got to get out this bed and realize that we made it. We made this bed. And the next generation of children are going to lie in that same bed that we created because we did not fix our own beds. That bed is full of toxic behaviors, toxic thoughts, toxic everything. Like we date toxic. All we do is it's time that we change our sheets. And some of y'all need to throw out that bed because y'all still got your beds from high school. Some of y'all growing up still got the same goddamn mattress from high school. Some of y'all need to buy a new mattress. Some of y'all need to throw out that goddamn mattress, that one that got the piss stain in the middle of the bed that you had for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And that's just the logic. It's time to get rid of that mattress and change our sheets. It's time, guys. That's all that mattress carried is trauma. A lot of us got to realize that bed that we make, we're going to have to lay in that thing. And if you don't work on yourself, guys, you're going to have to keep laying in that thing. But misery loves company, and guess what? I don't want to attend the party no more. Misery loves company, and I don't want to attend the party no more. I'm good with saying no. I'm good with saying you're not invited. You know the best thing the other day, I had a guy tell me that they was having a party in my neighborhood, and it was like, I don't think people want you there. I said, I don't think I want to be there. I don't think I want to be there. Nothing personal. But you thought you were saying something to me. I'm going to tell you something. You got to be a weirdo when you think that somebody you're doing better than, you have to stoop down to their level to impress them. You got to be a whole weirdo to think that I got to stoop down to your level and I'm doing way better than you to try to impress you. I think you would trade lives right now with me. But I'm not going to sit around and talk about nobody that's in their misery when they haven't, trying to figure themselves out. But I will talk bad about somebody that's not working on themselves, but always throwing rocks. Always got something to say. Always got something to say and hide in their hands. The other day, a guy said to me, could you take constructive criticism from a woman? And you know what I said? I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Listen to this good, Leash. He said, can you take constructive criticism from a woman? I said, want me to tell you the truth? I said, it's easy for me to take constructive criticism from a woman when the woman can take constructive criticism from me. If I go to her and tell her something that bothers me and she's receptive of it, it forces me by all means to have to be receptive of her. Humans naturally don't respect what don't respect them. And when we don't listen to somebody's feelings, that's disregarding someone's feelings, which means there's no respect. And this is what we need to identify. Ladies and gentlemen, stop making things about how you feel and start learning to understand that other people have feelings too. But until you identify that, you're going to continue to create this false narrative of telling people what you feel and what I thought. Once a person starts, well, I feel like you already lost the battle. Because now you're about to talk in an opinionated conversation that's only based on your feelings with no logic. I'm going to tell you something. You diabolical if I can send you receipts to validate and prove what I'm saying and you still want to argue it. That's a level of slow on a whole nother level. I'm just being honest. If I send you receipts validating what I'm said, that means if you don't want to read those receipts, you know what that means? All you cared about was being goddamn right. That means all you cared about was being right. It was never about anything. You just want to prove me wrong. And that's when you have a problem with people. That's why when you see people jump in comments and talk bad, is they just want to prove me wrong because it's hurting their feelings. Do I give a damn about your feelings? The world don't give a damn about your feelings. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Either you putting them up or you not. Don't lie to yourself and tell yourself to make yourself feel accommodated on your bad behaviors. A lot of us are still looking for people that want to talk. Yo, I remember the other day, a guy tried to talk to me about high school. I'm like, bro, I don't care about that. Listen, if it ain't about something productive, I don't want to be in it. It's productive and it's counterproductive. Most people conversations are counterproductive. There is no value, no substance, nothing to elevate you in those conversations. I come on this podcast each and every Sunday and I definitely talk nothing but positivity. I don't sit here and try to diss nobody, but if you feel like it's a diss, because that means you got some work to do. The person that, when I walk into a room and say somebody stink, the person that's getting the most offended is the person that stinks. Let me say that again. When I walk into a room and I say somebody stink, the person that usually get the most offended is the person that usually stinks. Hit dogs, holler. And you hollering because you're a hit dog. You feeling it. And the reality is, sit there, pay the bill, and walk out of that restaurant as the king and the queen that you truly are. Stop avoiding paying for your tab that you ran up. All of those things that you see that's going on in your life right now is the things that you put yourself into. I get it, your mother might have been, your daddy might have been, I get it. But the sad part is you continue their behavior. As an adult, you're still making poor decisions. As an adult, you won't open a book. You rebelled against schoolwork when you was in school, and you're still rebelling against work now that you're an adult. There's a lot of people that rebelled against schoolwork when they was kids. I think the best parent is the person that will open a goddamn book and learn how to be a goddamn parent. Stop telling me you what you know when you won't even read about parenting. You got to realize from K through 7 is the most vital years of elevating a child, of teaching a child behavior, mannerisms, how to act. A spoiled baby will be a spoiled adult. A nagging child will be a nagging adult. A whining child will be a whining adult. Because nobody ever rectified that person. So that person goes all through their life looking for someone to feel sorry for them. I'm gonna give y'all a quick story. So the other day something happened there's a child, right? And every time the child cries about other kids taking things from him. So I told the child, stop letting people take stuff from you. Otherwise, I'm not gonna protect you. Long story short, the kid allowed somebody else to take things from him to the point where the kid took off running and cried. I never ran behind the kid to go help the kid. So I was looked at as a bad parent or a bad person. But I said the reason why I didn't run behind my daughter is because if I defend her today, I'm gonna have to defend her tomorrow. And if I defend her tomorrow, I'm gonna have to defend her whole life. The whole prominence of teaching someone their own strength is that they'll get up when they fall. When a person falls that never learned their own strength, they tend to stay down. And the world you see today is a bunch of people who stay down because no one showed them that they can get the hell back up. And that's the reality. Yeah, you might have fell 10 times, but it's time to get the hell back up. You might have lost, but it's time to take your losses and turn them into lessons. At the end of the day, we live, we learn, we grow. And your experiences in life will educate you for your tomorrow. So I'm gonna tell you this before I get out of here today. The bed that you in today is the bed that you created. I don't want to hear about your mother didn't, your father didn't. Because your mother and father didn't teach you how to have sex, but you figured it out. So you can continue to figure out exactly what you want to figure out. You are what you support. You are what you listen to. You are what you put your energy into. So if you keep putting your energy into foolishness, I don't want to hear you complain about why you're losing. Because by design, a loser will always lose when a loser is comfortable losing. Because the moment you get tired of losing will be the moment you'll start winning. Because you'll start doing everything and anything it takes to win. Go throw out that mattress. Buy a new one. Go put new sheets on your bed. And go lay in that new bed. And realize that we are the bed we make. Till next time, guys. Don't let that go over your head.